Stakeholders expressed the significance of 2021 World First Aid Day with its theme, Be a First Hero at School and in Your Community. Unknown gunmen killed 3 police officers on checkpoint in Delta State. Good evening, I am Ode Alenyo, and now the news in details. Early knowledge of essentials of first aid and the acquisition of basic medical skills can be a life-saving activity, especially in the face of uncertainties like intercommunal clashes, unsafe routes, increased violence, and other threatened conditions. This is a submission of concerned Nigerians and stakeholders on the significance of this year's theme, the World First Aid Day, which is Be a First Aid Hero at School and in Your Community. Margaret has more.
According to research, almost 27% deaths occur due to a lack of medical attention. From the website of the Red Cross Society, many people across the globe get hurt and injured due to lack of timely medical attention, and in some serious cases, many people even lost lives. Findings also reveals that if an individual has the right knowledge of first aid, it will help in reduction of injuries and deaths, as well as the impact of disasters, calamities, and daily emergencies. But how many people have the right knowledge about the first aid treatment?
I was trying to clean my nails from these regular people, and then he mistakenly injured me. Everyone in the compound was like, use salt, use water.
But when I was in secondary school, during one of the subjects I was doing, so they train us.
Whenever I have any injury or maybe I feel feverish, I use first aid.
As the world marks this year's First Aid Day, stakeholders maintain that advocacy is important by learning the essentials of first aid, teaching of first aid services in schools, inculcating in children basic medical skills, as well as having emergency numbers and knowing the essential things that one must keep in a first aid kit.
The theme for this year's celebration is Be a First Aid Hero at School and in Your Community. It means that we need to enlighten more people, especially in schools. Also in our communities, we also need to enlighten people more and also let them see the need to acquire these skills.
World First Aid Day is celebrated as a campaign aimed at promoting the importance of first aid training and increasing its accessibility to save more lives in a crisis. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
A constructive dialogue by stakeholders where experiences are shared, resolutions and recommendations reached to strengthen the fight against violence on women and girls is the reason behind a one-day interaction of traditional and religious leaders in South Nigeria. Paul Eber reports that taking messages to end gender-based violence to the grassroots as well as effective implementation of policies, acts and laws is the thrust of discussion at the summit.
Violence against women and girls has in recent years, especially during the COVID-19 lockdown, been on the rise. Sustaining the fight against this monster from different fronts, which appears in varying forms such as physical, sexual, psychological, and economic. The United Nations and European Union Spotlight Initiative assembled these stakeholders to ensure the message is driven home for the desired impact.
The heads of churches, they will now go and step down to the various branches. The traditional rulers, they have a lot of chiefs under them. They'll pass on the message and, like somebody said, go to the grassroots. We believe it will get closer to the people.
The key message dwelling on the theme of the event, presented by an erudite scholar, narrows on causes, consequences of gender-based violence and what must be done to solve the malady.
Basic interventions that will be useful to the girl child in the village, in schools, in the streets, in homes.
Participants with experiences shared same during a panel discussion and interactive sessions with pieces of advice.
Across River State, a couple of laws have been passed that supports the rights of women, which, if effectively would improve the well-being of women and girls.
The traditional rulers in their various domains should stand up and talk against these harmful practices in their own domain.
We should be able to inculcate the right things, the right rules to our subjects and to the society in general.
All our guests like this, stop all this reading. If you see the Quran or Islamic stand.
We are going home to educate our people, to make advocacy, to ensure that every man that is created after the image and likeness of God is given the equal opportunity.
As stakeholders and participants arise from the forum, they are hopeful that the recommendations will go beyond the hall to the public if the war against violence against women and girls must end sooner than later. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
3 police officers on checkpoints have been sent to their early graves following the gruesome murder of the officers by the yet-to-be-identified gunmen. Rosemary Omani reports that the incident took place at Umutu in Ukwane local government area of Delta State.
The officers attached to the divisional police headquarters in Ukwane local government area were said to be alighting from the Sienna vehicle for their routine checkpoint duty at the boundary between Obeti and Oliogo, an outskirt of Obeti community in Ukwane, when they met their untimely death. The killers were said to have laid ambush for the unsuspecting officers. They suddenly emerged from the bush, shooting at the victims and killing 2 on the spot, wounded 3 others who were lucky to escape, and burnt 1 right inside the Sienna, leaving the vehicle in this condition. The wounded 3 are currently receiving treatment at the hospital. The state acting police public relations officer, DSP Bright Edafe, confirmed the incident, describing it as unfortunate. I am Rosemary Omani, NTA News.
In order to meet President Muhammadu Buhari's target of making agriculture an alternative to oil, creating food sufficiency and reducing hunger in the country, the need for government to invest in agricultural infrastructure has been brought to the fore. Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade stated this while at the inspection of an irrigation system at the Ayade rice farms at Obanli Kuluku government area of the state. Paul Ebel reports.
The federal government, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, has made available various channels to assist farmers such as the Anchor Borrower Scheme, among others, towards achieving food sufficiency in Nigeria. Apart from spearheading the agro-industrialization policy, Governor Ben Ayade is also into Irish potato farming, beef from cattle for export, as well as the Ayade rice farm. The cultivation of rice needs lots of water, and this inspection is to utilize water from a natural source and make artificial rains for the rice farm.
We have a miniature local dam structure to allow us bury our submersible pump to pump water in varying sizes from 8 inches to a 12-inch pipe that delays water through a control valve system into a holding earthen basin lined with high-density polyethylene tetrafilate. So with the HDP lining, we can be able to retain water and redistribute by gun rain technique across the entire farm size. That way, we have sufficient rice harvest to support both the Ogoja rice mill as well as the Ayade rice mill. And the intention is to support the Buhari agri policy on having an alternative to the oil industry, to be able to create food sufficiency, food adequacy, and of course reduce the issues associated with hunger and starvation and youth restiveness.
The venture is already providing employment opportunities for many youths, which will also reduce crime in the locality. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
You are watching news reaching you from the studio of NTA Calabar. You can watch this newscast on our YouTube channel at YouTube/NTA Calabar. We will take a break. The news continues shortly.
As news breaks from the north, south, east, and west of Nigeria, we bring it to you. News from the length and breadth of Cross River State is sent to you via this channel.
with movers and shakers in various spheres of influence talking to us. We carve a niche and showcase our experience in broadcasting because it's NTA Calabar before others.
You can't get this anywhere else. It's only here on NTA Calabar News, showing at this times 3 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 7 p.m. every day. NTA Calabar News. Our experience counts.
To ensure food safety for a healthy living, nutrition expert advises people and food vendors to maintain a high level of food hygiene regulations by ensuring that food, especially roadside meals, are properly kept away from contamination. A medium more complete the story.
Food safety and hygiene are important for the general well-being of an individual as it helps to protect the health of consumers from foodborne illnesses and food poisoning. The Food Hygiene Regulations 2006 legally requires food vendors to ensure that foodstuffs are properly handled safe to avoid being contaminated, thereby endangering the lives of consumers. The question is, how many people are aware of the meals they consume outside their homes and the mode of preparations?
Maybe you travel outside your state where you are staying. You can eat outside because you will not go there with your pot. But it's advisable you cook your food and eat it by yourself.
It's not bad patronizing food vendors. It's not a bad idea. Another one is helping in improving our economy, circulation of cash.
This raises concerns as some of the food vendors expose meals to be contaminated by flies and other environmental hazards without properly applying food safety regulations. A nutritionist admonished individuals to be conscious of what they consume and urges government to enact and enforce relevant laws to protect the people. The nutritionists maintain that food safety is a priority for a healthy living for everyone. In Uyo, Emedionmo, NTA News.
Sand is a substance that consists of fine grains of rock found mostly around beaches and deserts. These nature's gifts are oftentimes a necessity when considering the construction of infrastructures. Correspondent in this special report examines the sand business in Calabar and the opportunities that abound in the business. This is one business for the strong, even without formal educational requirements. At seasons like this, it can be lucrative as employees and employers may have reasons to smile to the bank. Welcome to the sand business in Calabar, where the rains for this set of business minds can be termed a blessing. This is because during downpours like this, fine sand is gathered ready for the market.
It is one of the sources of income here for our people here in the community. It's one avenue that we get daily bread from.
I'm a student. Why I like to do this sand work is that when I came back from school, we don't have any work to do. So we take this sand work to feed ourselves. We know that there's enough strength for us in this sand work.
There's not like everybody in this used to go and do government work. Why I decided to do this sand business because of that. The sand business is give us enough, so we eat because of the sand.
But the sand business, like any other business, has its own negative impact. One of it is its contribution to an erosion menace.
Most of the erosion we have that destroys houses, things is because of land excavations or sometimes small gutters. So the effect is not far-fetched. It's something that we are facing. Even the government is trying to mitigate against it.
The effect of it is that the moment they do such excavation, if they didn't reclaim that place, that is the land, it will be a borrow pit. The moment it's a borrow pit, it can also be harm to human beings and will also cause erosion during rainy season.
Despite the ugly aspect of this sand business, some respondents say it creates opportunity to embark on building projects during this period of the year as it is cost effective.
To build during the rainy season is somehow more preferable because of maybe sand and material, especially sand. You have we have much sand during the rainy season, because if you get to borrow pit, this rainy water will take much sand to the borrow pit. That's when you have enough sand.
During dry season, those that dig sand from the ground, from their community and destroy, will not dig again. Those that used to patronize them, that access of business will do what? Close. Everybody will now focus on rivers or the normal sand from the river.
In that regard, again, they should reclaim the land in order to reduce what the cost of soil erosion in such area. And such area, after reclaiming, they can equally do something in that nature by having that place as land. They can also cultivate their crops.
So you do the rebuilding, as in the block work, do it at dry season. Then you do your plastering at rainy season.
Experts say sand excavation should be carried out in large beaches to complement dredging rather than scooping from roads and drainages, which may likely cause erosion. Either way, analysts believe unemployment is reduced and social vices are curtailed if the sand business is encouraged with adherence to proper environmental guidelines. In Calabar, Ode Aleño, NTA News. The remains of late Madam Margaret Ekanem ne Ode, who died at the age of 76, have been laid to rest at the Hawkins Road Cemetery, Calabar. Erika Ivy reports that the interment was preceded with a funeral service which was witnessed by family members, friends and associates within and outside the state, held at St. Bernard's Catholic Church, Marian Hill, Calabar.
Jesus knows all about our struggles. He will guide till the day is done. Expression from an old hymn reminded families and friends of Madam Margaret Ekanem at the funeral service that God will comfort the brokenhearted. In a homely title, The Essence of Existence and Salvation, Reverend Father Daniel Ukpong charged Christians to be conscious of heaven with a life of faith, advising Christians to do good always, knowing that man will be judged at the end of his work on earth. In a biography, Madam Margaret Ekanem had her primary education at the Holy Child Convent Primary School, Igoli Ogoja, and later received her ordinary National Diploma (OND) in Public Health at the School of Health Technology, Calabar. Etieka Margaret Akpo Ekanem, as she was fondly called, while alive was a sociable person who had joined many associations, including the Catholic Women Organization, CWO. The deceased was described by her children as a virtuous woman, disciplinarian, and industrious.
I miss my mom. She was an amiable person, a nice person.
I miss her a lot because she's a mother that used to advise. She's a giver. She was honest. She was, let me say, courageous. And I love those virtues of her.
We give God the glory that she lived a fulfilled life.
I miss her so much. I miss her argument, her courage, her play, everything.
Other family members in different condolences and tributes maintain that the late Etieka Margaret Ekanem will be missed for her motherly role and commitment to the service of God.
All my life, she has been my friend. She was very, very sociable and she mixes easily with different things. That's why she belongs to so many societies in the church.
She's a disciplinarian, intelligent, very outspoken.
She's not the type that discriminates. I'm a Yoruba man. She gave out her daughter to me, despite that I'm not from my place.
It was emotional at the graveside as her remains were interred. Madam Ekanem is survived by a host of relatives, numerous grandchildren, great-grandchildren, brothers, sisters, in-laws, and 6 children to mourn her demise, among whom is Mrs. Victoria Oladokun, a staff of NTA Ibadan. She was born into the family of Pa John Paul Iye Ode and Madam Mary Idiku Ode of Nyanya Idikwe in Bekwara local government area of Cross River States. In Calabar, Erika Evie, NTA News.
And that's the size of our package for tonight. But before we go, let's take a quick look at some of the stories that make the headlines. Stakeholders have advocated early knowledge of first aid and basic medical skill as essential to life-saving in the face of uncertainties. This was a submission by concerned Nigerians while speaking on the significance of this year's World First Aid Day with the theme Be a First Aid Hero at school and in your community. 3 police officers on checkpoint at Umutu, Ukwani local government area of Delta State were sent to their early grave by unknown gunmen. That's the size of our package for tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.